Hey, very good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Early Edge. We hope your Friday is starting out great. We are brought to you by BetMGM. Make it, wait for it, legendary. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a pretty good recap screen. We were looking for a bounce back, and we got it. Look at these SportsLine picks. Shout out to RJ White, Bruce Marshall, Danny Brasco, and Prop Bet Guy. Sniper goes 1 for 2. His plus money play doesn't come in. Larry Hartstein, 2-0, 2 for 2 from him. Really helps out the numbers here. 6-3 is our Thursday recap. Always looking to do better, though. Jason Pogba, Samuel Gallegos, Fishbowl Flash, Darren Mercurio, M. Baller, D. Johnson. Thanks for being in the chat. Hit the like button if you could. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're going to like this. It's BPE Friday. Let's go. We've got Mackenzie Brooks doing the Arsenio. She doesn't know what that is. We got Danny Brasco doing the shadow boxing. Buckets, he's got a big decision coming your way. But ladies and gentlemen, before we get to any picks, before we get to any banter, you need your Chip Me Up.
Good morning, Sia. Good morning, kids. Good morning, Daddy. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Early Hedge fam. I'm here to light a fire under that tush. I'm here to get your blood pumping, here to get your body moving, body moving, because it's a huge sports weekend. We got tons of picks from the crew. It's a BPE Friday, and who's got it better than us? Nobody.
Nobody. That was amazing. Mackenzie, do you know who Arsenio Hall is?
Nope.
Oh, no. Okay, that's okay.
Fair. That's fair.
That's totally fair. I can't make fun of you for that. Danny, you know who Arsenio Hall is, right?
If you've ever seen Dave Chappelle do his impression of Arsenio Hall being mad that he didn't know there was a charcuterie board at the party, just go look that up. It's one of the funniest things you'll ever see.
Some good-ass cheese.
Buckets, do you know how to spell charcuterie?
Why do they get asked about Arsenio Hall and I get asked like, no, I don't, but I do know who Arsenio Hall is, if that matters.
Now, okay, that does matter. That's great. Now, Buckets, there's been a lot of fanfare on the Twitter because you have a huge decision that you've been pondering. Now, like if you're not ready in this moment, that's okay, but you're holding a football. Everybody wants to know because you're not an American football fan until recently. Now you've pledged your allegiance to a team, one of 32. Are you ready to announce that or do we have to wait?
Sia, I am not ready. Let's wait a little bit. I gotta work through this still.
That's good.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
Brian M. Sia, Bucket spells it Lunchables. Charcuterie, it was just in our play, says greatest poet alive. Really good stuff from the chat, everybody. Thanks for being in here. All right, I guess we should get right to picks. Actually, Mackenzie, let me ask you this. Your reaction to yesterday's Steelers-Bengals game, what's the first thing that comes to mind? I know the underachievers, that you guys had a bunch of bets going on. I don't know like how you did there. I'm sure you did pretty well. I know at least one play cashed, one play that they put on the Twitter, if you will. But tell me your reaction to that game.
I'm boots on ground in
I was gonna say,
Wisconsin.
what we've had is we got brats, we got cheese curds, we got spotted cow.
Guys, I feel like
just living her best life right now.
the diet here has taken already years off my life. I've literally only consumed spotted cow beer, cheese curds, and any form of like fried chicken or brat or bread. Like I feel like I'm in slow motion. Wouldn't have it any other way though. I've enjoyed everything I've had. This town rules. I'm such a fan of Madison from what I've seen so far. A lot more exploring to do. And we have our live show Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon as well. So that'll be very exciting. With all that said, I was watching the game in a bar last night with our crew, which was really, really fun. All I have to say is the old men still got it in them. And I'm just happy for that, man. To watch Joe Flacco use his legs like that. Aaron Rodgers was even using the legs a little bit. It's just good to see. Good for morale. And also, Yoshi Voss over 1.5 receptions, cashed.
Yeah, and Larry had that play as well. And we talked about it on the show. So we went 6-3 on the show. But, you know, every one of those Thursday night, Monday night shows, we talk about the game so much. We talked about Yoshivas yards as well. So maybe some of you were on that as well because that one ended up coming in. I love that one so much. I almost put it in myself. Not the receptions, but the yards. I'm sorry that I didn't. So let's get to some picks that people are actually putting in. Liddy says 40 is old. Buckets, is 40 old? And what are your soccer picks?
40 is about as old as you can possibly get. So
I hope
Just be
not.
careful. Just be careful with that. Let's talk about footy because international break is finally over. It feels like our 8th break of the season, and we've got another one next month, so we have to enjoy good, proper club footy while we can. I am going to the Svein Bundesliga for my first play as Fortuna Dusseldorf take on Eintracht Braunschweig. You've got these easy, Sia. And we're going with Dusseldorf over 1.5 team total at -130. And I know the response. I see the nonsense on Twitter. Buckets -130. That's too juicy. Then don't play it because it's going to cash. And I don't mind winning while you guys sit on the sideline here. It's going to cash because Braunschweig is just awful. This team defensively is non-existent. Fortuna Dusseldorf doesn't have the best offense, and that doesn't matter. Eintracht has now conceded 2 or more goals in their last 4 matches straight, and they've conceded 2 or more in 7 of their last 8 matches. This is not a defensive team that anybody wants to back right now. Fortuna at home are good enough to get at least 2 goals here. And then we go to Ligue 1, which also returns as we've got the champions of Europe, PSG, taking on Racing Strasbourg. And we're going with both teams to score at -130. Again, a little bit of juice, so maybe you parlay these together. But PSG are exhausted. They are the best team in France. Nobody's doubting that, but they are so tired. And these international breaks are not breaks for PSG because all their players are good enough that they're playing in international competitions. Now you've got a racing team that has scored more goals than PSG so far this season, playing with nothing to lose. I absolutely love goals in this game. Take both teams to score at -130, parlay it with over 2.5, take team totals on either side. I'm expecting a ton of goals as we return to League One footy. And then, Sia, one bonus play here just for people watching live. Tomorrow we have Der Klassiker, which is Bayern Munich versus Borussia Dortmund. I don't know if you guys can read this. Smells like a Bayern Munich win to me, baby. We're going to light the candle. Bayern Munich over 2.5 team total at -120 if you want some bonus Saturday action for you.
Buckets, please don't light anything. You've already disabled your fire alarm.
I was gonna
Like,
say that.
we don't need you playing with fire at this point.
Is the alarm active or what's the status of the fire alarm?
Did you reinstall the fire alarm?
Legally, yes, I did reinstall the fire alarm, and it works perfectly.
That is a great answer in this publicly documented space.
Yes, thank you to anybody, to my landlord who is watching this. Of course it's installed.
Okay, of course. Just blow the candle out if you don't mind. Eintracht Braunschweig, is that how you pronounce it?
What did you just call me?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm doing for the recap screen.
You'll be
Fortuna
fine.
Dusseldorf versus...
Well, I mean, it's like the Frankfurt team. Eintracht is just like an AC, or like another one of those.
Real.
Yeah, copy and paste for any football club.
What about the second word, though?
That's where it is.
Yeah, but like, how do you pronounce it?
Buckets.
Oh, Braunschweig.
There you go.
All right, that's not that bad. Braunschweig. All right, well, let's go to team names like UConn, Miami, Louisville, Ole Miss, Arkansas. Maybe we could do that. Chip Patterson, hit us with a pick for... Well, first of all, you gave out the UConn pick on Tuesday. So maybe just remind people who might not have been watching Tuesday, you've got a pick for tonight and a couple picks for Saturday.
Yeah, real quick on the UConn pick. I honestly a little bit surprised. Remember, I told you on Tuesday that I was going to go ahead and gobble it up just in case this thing crossed the Rubicon here. But I still do like the Huskies as a dog. Boston College is just an absolute free fall right now. Jim Mora Jr. has that group trying to get back to the postseason. This is a game where they've just got to smell blood in the water. So I like them. I think they are playing better. Are they the better team, like talent-wise on paper? It's a coin flip. But if sometimes at this point, who you are on paper doesn't matter as much to me as your performance. And so I'm going to go with that. Let's go with the little UConn as a plus money dog. Okay, Friday night. This is one of the more complex handicaps that I had to put together because Miami and Louisville both coming into this game off of a bye. Okay. So we've got a Miami team that has one of the best offensive and defensive lines in the country. And specifically on the defensive line, that's going to be a problem because Louisville is just a mess offensively up front. Miller Moss is running for his life. He's getting sacked. He's throwing interceptions. And so I look at it and I'm like, all right, this should be a spot where Miami's defense is able to wear them down. And normally I'd be going for that little first half under, but you got to remember something, y'all. You got to remember about big game Brom because Louisville head coach Jeff Brom is one of the best in my book in terms of being able to scheme up the easy plays for his quarterback. I mean, that's how you go and you just get several substandard quarterbacks drafted to the NFL because you've made it so easy for them in college. So with extra time to prepare, it would not surprise me if Louisville has a good start. But again, what happens at the line of scrimmage is what matters the most to me. Over the course of 4 quarters, I just think Miami's going to lean on this team. I'm going to go Miami, Louisville under 50.5. Miami's offense, we have seen they get the explosive plays they need. They don't always operate at that breakneck pace of trying to run it up. I mean, once they get a lead, they kind of sit on it a little bit. I'm expecting something similar. So if you see Louisville 7, Miami nothing in the first possession, wouldn't be a surprise. In fact, it's part of my expectation. But by the end of this game, I'm looking at something along the lines of like a 27-13 kind of game, maybe with a few more scores on that as well to get us under. All right. On to Saturday. Now we are going to take a first half play, but we're going to take a little first half dog where Ole Miss is going to play the Dogs. And Ole Miss in Sanford Stadium, it has not been good. And, you know, Ole Miss against Georgia, they've got a little bit of a revenge factor going where Kirby had just 10 points last year in a loss out in Oxford. But Georgia has been really, really tough. I mean, they've just been perpetually late. I'll tell you what, Georgia would have so many tardies at this point, they would have after-school detention. And if they continue to stack up tardies the way that I'm expecting, you might be dealing with a little 3-day suspension, maybe a little ISS for the public school kids out there. So we are going to go Ole Miss in the first half plus 3.5 because Georgia has been outscored before halftime in 3 of its 4 SEC games. And the only one where it did not happen was against Kentucky in the bounce back spot against Alabama. Plus, let's think about 2 more factors here. Ole Miss first half means we get the Lane Kiffin script. And if you watched them against Washington State, they were not putting in any time to prepare for Washington State. It was all for Georgia. So I think that the beginning start for Ole Miss could be very strong. And then number 2, on the other side, Kirby Smart, after halftime, those halftime defensive adjustments have been fantastic. And that's why you see the scoring just drop off a cliff after halftime when it comes to Georgia's opponents this year. So Ole Miss first half plus 3.5. We get Lane's script. It is before Kirby's adjustments. So let's go Rebels. We just need to be within a field goal heading into the locker room. And finally, I didn't get to watch the 4:15 starts. I don't know how y'all pace your college football Saturday, but a 4:15 start can get a little lost. Tennessee, Arkansas, had to give it fresh eyes during the week. Okay. I was watching. I was like, oh, Bobby P's got the boys moving. And they were getting some good push against that Tennessee defensive front. 11 offensive possessions for Arkansas, just 2 punts. Just 2 punts. Now, there was a turnover on downs. Taylor Green fumbled a couple times. Like, it's not all clean. It's not all dominant, but they are not getting stopped a lot. And while Texas A&M's defense has gotten better in recent weeks, I think going into Fayetteville, Bobby Petrino maybe trying to work his way into the full-time job for Arkansas. I think this is a close one. Taylor Green, enough of a difference maker at the quarterback position to keep this within a touchdown. So I will take the home dog, the home hogs, plus 7 and a hook.
Absolutely love the 4-pack. We got UConn from Tuesday. We've got a game for tonight, the under. There were questions, Chip.
Yeah, let's go.
And there's going to be more questions we'll get to later in the show. But I think everybody wants to know, are we laying the 13.5 with Miami? And then Mackenzie, I'm going to ask you the same question on this Miami-Louisville game in terms of your take. Go ahead, Chip.
I have seen Mario Cristobal's decision-making in the second half indicate that this is not a blow you out of the water team. So 13.5 is a big number against Jeff Brom, especially if Louisville does get off to a little bit of a hotter start. Then all of a sudden, Miami climbs back, then they get a lead, and then you're watching them win by 13 and kicking yourself. So I would not lay my pick on CBSSports.com, where we have to pick every single game against the spread. I did take Miami because I think it's more likely than Louisville, but I would not make it a best bet.
Mackenzie, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think Chip did the right thing by attacking the total. A 13.5 is a frustrating number, and this isn't a team that needs style points. Like, they're pretty surefire to make the ACC championship and or get an at-large bid. So I don't think it's one of those where you see them in the fourth quarter, like, let's just keep curb stomping them. So I would either stay off it, take the under. I don't think Miami cares to rack up the points, honestly.
All right. Fair enough. Danny Brasco, we've got a couple of football promotions to do. I know you're here for UFC. I got to ask you though, from a SportsLine standpoint, we got the prop show coming up at 1:00 today on CBS Sports Network. Have you put in any NFL plays yet, or has it just been UFC so far?
Just UFC so far. I really like this card. I got a little momentum back last week, so I want to keep that rolling in the UFC. I don't have a ton of football intel for you guys today, but I have a lot of UFC, so I'll focus on that. By the way, Sia, can you hear some faint drilling in my background from the 5-year-long construction project they're doing on my building that interrupts BP every single week? Any audible noise?
I can't hear it.
Yeah.
I think you're good.
Relative to some other Fridays.
The conditions and terrain I have to battle through. It's like playing an away game in my own house every week.
Hey, you're overcoming adversity, Danny. You've got this.
Oh, I forged in
It's
fire.
very impressive.
Should I fire away, Sia? Let me know.
Well, I'll tell you what. Because we just talked about college football, let me tell everybody about some BetMGM promotions and then some NFL SportsLine picks, and then we're going right back to you, Danny. We've got a lot more to cover on the show. Mackenzie has a pick. I've got an NFL prop. Of course, we've got your UFC picks, and we've got your questions. BetMGM has a ton of football boosts this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. BetMGM players will receive a no-sweat token to apply to any bet on pro football. Just make a pro football bet, activate the token, and then if your wager loses, don't worry, you'll receive bonus bets back from BetMGM. Account holders will also receive a college football odds boost. Just bet on a college football game to activate the boost. If your bet hits, you'll score extra winnings only at BetMGM. We've got a lot of SportsLine picks here, so let me get through those real quick. And then we've got some of the SportsLine model telling us what they think is going to happen in Major League Baseball tonight. But here are the picks from Thursday. Prop Stars, who has just been absolutely on fire. Travis Etienne, under 60.5 rushing yards. He gave that out yesterday on the show, minus 115. Ted McMillan, over 52.5 receiving yards from Prop Stars, minus 110. That's a new one. Rams, -3, minus 110, says Emery Hunt. Browns, -2.5, minus 110, says RJ White. And the Jets, dogs at home, ouch, to the Carolina Panthers. The Jets, +1.5. That's what Brady Cannon likes. That one is minus 110. And Ben, if you don't mind, let's take a look. We don't have a baseball guy on the show. Let's take a look at what the SportsLine model here, like take a screenshot of this if you want. We've got a B-graded play, the Mariners +1.5. Of course, that one's pretty juicy. Do with that what you will. Mariners -106, though, also a B-rated play. And then the over 7, a B-rated play as well. Obviously, in our SportsLine Discord, we're going to have guys like A-Mags talking about their picks as well. But this is what the simulation has, the SportsLine model, in terms of that game. Then, of course, we've got C-rated picks here. Brewers +1.5. Brewers money line +163. That's a B-rated play. And the over 8, it's a slight lean. C grade would be a slight lean. A B grade would be a moderate lean, or moderate play, I should say. Take a screenshot again if you want. These are the plays per the SportsLine model. All right. Buckets, we still have to get to your decision as well. We got to get to the UFC picks. We're going to cover it all right after this message from our partners.
We need your sports news anywhere.
We've got breaking news to bring you.
Then get your sports anytime you want them. Big trade news overnight to discuss.
Because we know you need sports all the time.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
A legend adds to their legacy.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, anywhere, anytime, all the time.
We're back on the early edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Danny Brasco, your takes are always legendary. We got to get to your UFC. We got to get to Mackenzie's college football, my NFL, everybody's questions. But you've got the floor, my friend.
I cannot wait for Bucket's LeBron James decision. This is amazing. But first, let's go to UFC Vancouver. I was going to try to do French-Canadian. Is it French-Canadian in Vancouver? It's more like, I don't know, that's more Montreal. But let's just avoid that entirely. It's not an accent in my wheelhouse. We're going to Vancouver, and first off, I gave you some picks of Canadians that I want to back on Wednesday. Our job was to beat the line there. I gave you Melissa Croden +102, Eamon Zahabi -125. Both of those lines are on the move, so we did our job there. Now, let's take a look at Matt the Steamroller Frivola for my first pick, in which I'm fading a Canadian, unfortunately. He's fighting Kyle Nelson. But the reason I'm fading Nelson is because he's taken this one at lightweight. And at 155, Nelson is 0-3 in his UFC career. So Frivola, who's a natural 155er, is coming off back-to-back knockout losses, but they were over, I think, much more skilled competition. And I think he's got a big explosivity and kind of power differential in this one. He's going to really come forward with that aggression, swinging overhand punches. And he's got the grappling advantage too. If he mixes in that aggression with his punching, he can really set up his takedowns. Nelson, I think, is on his way out. He might get clipped, knocked out. I think the plus 230 knockout is good for the guy that has the natural size advantage in terms of his physique and is a much better 155er. I'm fading Nelson at this weight class pretty much. That's the handicap. He's a really tough Muay Thai style striker at 145. Just hasn't been able to stand up to some of the heavier, more powerful guys. Next fight, guys, we're talking about this on the chat, and it's my dog of the week. As an underdog, I'm going to want to ask two things, right? Of course, is there value on the money line? But more than anything, are you going to fight for my money? And you're getting that in Jasmine Jasudavicius here at plus 190. She's been running through this flyweight division, 5-fight win streak. She looks extremely dangerous. And this is pretty much her shot to get to title contention. She's got to take down Manon Fiorot, who just challenged Valentina Shevchenko, one of the women's GOATs, and came up short. She wasn't able to take that title. I think we might be looking for a new contender here. Now, Fiorot is a very technical kickboxer. She's going to have the striking advantage on the feet, but Jasudavicius' pressure is what makes her so gritty and so dangerous. Her grappling attack, her relentlessness that she mixes in with her striking can really give her opponents problems. Fiorot, if she's standing at range, might be able to land a lot of strikes, but something I like stylistically in this matchup is that she's very kick heavy. And if a kick gets caught and she's not able to throw those kicks to the body, and Jasudavicius is able to catch them, back her up, maybe take her down, or at least grind on her against the fence, that kick game will be kind of negated, or at least she'll be wary to throw them. And Jasudavicius can really start opening up. Now, I see Gippers in the chat talking about her takedown prop. You can take over 1.5 takedowns at plus 150. I find that interesting too, but I don't necessarily think she needs 2 takedowns to win the fight. I think her pressure can later on break Fiorot as this fight goes on, and she wins on the judges' scorecards based on activity and aggression, which we see a lot of the time, especially that hometown nod in Canada that she might get. If you take a look at the spread market, the plus 3.5, implying she would win 1 round, is minus 170. But she's a plus 190 dog on the money line. That's a large gap, almost 20% in terms of implied probability. And in terms of betting math, what that says to me is it could be 1-1 going into the 3rd round. I want the gritty, relentless pressure fighter in that spot. So give me JJ, who also did the intro of my old podcast that we're not doing anymore. So slight bias here, but I think I gave plenty of factual and objective takes to make her a good case for an underdog you should take in UFC Vancouver. And finally, the main event of the evening. This is a fun middleweight fight between two guys looking to make a title march as well. It's Reinier de Ridder versus Brendan Allen. And I like this fight to go over 2.5 rounds. We've seen for a while now these middleweight fights actually go the distance at a high clip, especially the 3-rounders. And Brendan Allen, who is the underdog, hasn't been stopped since 2021. I don't think he's getting finished. He showed his toughness against some really hard opponents. He took 2 5-round fights with Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, who just breaks people. Allen went the distance with him twice. And that really says all I need to know against a grappler who's super unorthodox, super huge frame and size of Reinier de Ridder, right? He can make it punishing for his opponents when he's throwing those devastating knees, when he gets you in awkward positions on the ground. But I trust Allen's grappling intelligence and his technical striking to be sharp enough early in this fight to give de Ridder some problems, make him have to go later in this fight, and then de Ridder will probably start to take over later with his size, with his frame, with that grappling pressure. But early on, I think it's competitive, and I think this fight goes over 2.5 rounds. The over 3.5 on other books is plus money. I would take over 2.5 for minus 124. I found this on FanDuel. Best value I found. And good luck if you're tailing any of these UFC Vancouver picks, guys.
Mackenzie,
shout out, Danny. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like too good. Like you're outdoing us like too much.
Well, I got to get him right. I got to get him right, too. You know, it's nice to entertain, which is the goal, but I got to get him right next. So put that sound on Monday when the recap screen is red.
Yeah, hope so. Look forward to it. Expect to win.
We have one Mackenzie Brooks in the chat. She might be new to the show. Can we get some shout outs for Danny and his research? Guy knows ball. Good stuff from Mackenzie Brooks. Hit the like button for Danny Brasco. Mackenzie, we're going to get to your pick in approximately 30 seconds. I'm going to give out my pick, but it's going to be an abridged version because the longer version is going to be on the prop show today at 1 o'clock. It's going to be me and Claudia, Dave Richard, a.k.a. Uncle Dave, and of course, Prop Stars, who has been unbelievable lately. Actually, it's very believable for him. I'm going with Kamani Vidal over 53.5 rushing yards, minus 115. This is going to look like I'm chasing last week, and to some degree I am. What I love about this play is that his rushing attempt prop, if you think Hassan Haskins is going to make some impact, yeah, maybe he will, but the rushing attempt prop for Kamani Vidal is 13.5. It's just slightly to the over. So we're looking at 13 to 14 carries, not against Miami, which is a dream matchup, but at home against Indianapolis. And Indianapolis is a middling rush defense. It's not a great rush defense. It's not a terrible rush defense. But when you look at stuff like success rate and yards after contact, or I should say yards before contact, in terms of what their defense allows, it looks pretty good for Kamani Vidal. And then I looked at Jacob Gibbs' Twitter, and he's one of the best Twitters. He's got one of the best Twitter pages out there. He mentioned that Kamani Vidal, outside of Jonathan Taylor, was best in the league in week 6 in yards after contact. Now, again, that's the Miami Dolphins, but I still like Kamani Vidal, especially with a 13.5 rush carry, or excuse me, a rush attempt prop and 53.5 rushing yards. I think you could easily put this at 58, 59.5, which, oh, by the way, FanDuel has, but BetMGM still has this at 53.5. Try to catch this number or 54.5. I'd play it as high as probably 56.5. All right, let's get back to college football. More on NFL props today at 1 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. And Mackenzie, before you give out your pick, can you remind everybody where to watch you Saturday morning?
Yes, Saturday morning on CBS Sports HQ. It is 10 to 12 Eastern, and then 1:30 to 3:30 Eastern. We're going to go back up on our set when there's a lot more fans and a crowd. It's really fun to do more of that afternoon wave. I'll talk some live betting in that segment, 1:30 to 3:30 for the noon games, and then talk more about 3:30 games as well. Mark just asked me about NBA picks and futures. I have a hard January start time on the NBA. I can't do my other jobs well until January.
Real quick, Mackenzie, before you go, we have a futures show, I believe, Monday at 2 o'clock on this SportsLine YouTube channel. I'm trying to remember the 3 that I'm hosting it, but I think it's Larry. I don't know if it's Prop Stars. It's definitely Mikey B. You're going to start seeing Mikey B next week. But our futures show for the NBA is on this SportsLine YouTube channel Monday at 2 o'clock. Ben, feel free to interrupt and let me know if I got anything wrong there. But again, Monday, 2 o'clock, we've got our show. Mackenzie, you've got the floor.
Chip, I have a song that I would like to play that I'm not worried about playing it on Monday. If you could cue that for me.
Oh, absolutely. Let's go. She wants it.
Nice.
You guys should have seen me in the Madison bar last night. I was like dropping beats on the DJ. I was like, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Club Ken's is here in Wisconsin, just trying to get it done. We got 2 plays today, 2 first half plays for Saturday, because I like to make my money early and then turn it over to use later in the day. Iowa, this is gross. I'll say it. Mentally prepare. Iowa first half team total over 9.5 versus Penn State. They get them at home. This is their real opportunity to potentially beat a program like Penn State. We have absolutely zero idea what we're going to get from this Penn State team. It's not one of those where you want to you play inspired ball, because they all liked James Franklin. So I don't really know what the deal is there, but I think Iowa's going to play inspired ball because they're like, this is our opportunity to beat Penn State. Also, this Iowa team, this is probably one of the better offenses they've had in my lifetime of watching college football. They have scored 10 points in every single first half of this season. Every single first half. If this line's 10.5, I wouldn't take it, but you can still find it at 9.5. I would take it there. Again, they have literally scored at least 10 points in every single first half this season. And we don't know what we're getting from Penn State. I'm willing to pay to find out. I think it might be a little messy. I think Iowa's going to come out fire out of the gates, and that's what we're going to get from them. What's not going to be fire out of the gates is Ole Miss, Georgia. I don't typically bet on Georgia games. There's very few times I bring my own teams into this. But as somebody who's watched Georgia football the past few seasons, the way this Georgia offense starts is really slow. Like really, really, really slow. As Chip mentioned, they're always delayed. They're always behind the ball. This first half team total the full game total is 27.5. So even if Georgia does that thing where their offense isn't there and they're still allowing 2 touchdowns to the other team in the first half before they come back, we're still going well under this number. And I look at Ole Miss when they played LSU, which was probably the only other comparable competitive game. They only scored 17. And I don't think Georgia's offense is going to do enough in that first half. And maybe their defensive adjustments are finally here. Maybe we see them again. They was 10-0 against Auburn. So I'm willing to believe that either this defense finally shows up in the first half and keeps us under, or this Georgia offense doesn't show up the way they typically don't in the first half, and we can still get an under. But 27.5 is asking both of these teams to put up multiple touchdowns. And I really have a hard time believing that's what we see in that first half. Second half team, I do love my Bulldogs, but I understand how this team plays in the first half, and I'm mentally prepared for it. And now I'm going to bet money on it.
All right. Go ahead.
Treasure map here. We were spitting this around yesterday. Okay. Ole Miss in the first half. First half under 27.5. Georgia third quarter. Georgia is one of the best third quarter teams in America so far this season.
State? Our new Ohio State third quarter.
Listen, we got to get a little deeper before we crown them. Our sweet Buckeye princes of the third quarter. But yeah, Georgia's in the third quarter. It really has been those halftime adjustments. The offense wakes up, the defense locks it down. So yeah, if you want to treasure map that, you can go Ole Miss first half under, then tack on Georgia third quarter, and you find the gold.
There's a few of these games this weekend, and the Ole Miss Georgia game being one of them, where I wouldn't hate parlaying Ole Miss first half money line and Georgia full game money line.
Yes. Yeah. I like that.
Dude, I've never heard the term treasure map. And it's just like Chip's one of those guys that like you want to bet with. Like you want to be sitting down on the couch. He's like, yo, should we treasure map this? Like that's so much fun.
Hey, the R in ROI is for recreation. If you're not having fun with this, what are you even doing?
That wasn't advice, but it should be, because if you're not having fun doing this and you're stressed about your bets all the time, you're probably not betting responsibly. Don't forget, this is supposed to be very, very fun. And it's guys like Chip and Danny and Buckets and, of course, Mackenzie that make this very fun. Chip, real quick, speaking of Georgia, it was 2 games yesterday against Auburn. It was the first half, that was game 1, and the second half, game 2. Are you buying? I never got a chance to ask you this. Are you buying Kirby Smart's? I was clapping. It wasn't a timeout. Like, how did you interpret all of that and his post-game press conference?
No, everybody clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap. I mean, that's how everybody claps, right? Just like this? No, absolutely.
Mackenzie, what are your thoughts on that?
I will be taking no questions at this time.
Yes, that's what I thought. That's a really good answer, actually. Chip, Nebraska -7. Ray Garcia wants to know if you have any thoughts on that game.
All right, yes, I do. I have many thoughts on this game. I'll try and be as concise as possible. But right now, Emmett Johnson is the name of Nebraska's running back. He's having a very good season. We talk a lot about Dylan Raiola, but I really don't think he's the best part of this Nebraska offense. Minnesota's run defense has been a liability to be extreme, but a negative to be a little bit less extreme in all 3 of its Big Ten games. And those are against like Purdue, Ohio State for sure. But I think that if there is a matchup angle that on paper, I'm looking at, I'm like, well, Nebraska should be able to run the football against Minnesota. Nebraska should be able to do this. However, man, the vibes of trusting Nebraska to cover a whole American touchdown on a Friday night in Minneapolis, I don't know. I don't know. That could get a little bit dicey out there. So it's a stay away for me. But again, if this thing was played in a simulation, then I think Nebraska is able to expose this, but it's not. It's played on a Friday night in Minneapolis, and we'll see if Nebraska's all buttoned up because you see PJ Fleck out there rowing the boat. He's a big vibes guy, probably has a huge pep talk ready to go for their Fox Friday night spotlight. Could get a little dicey.
Mackenzie, you have any thoughts on that one?
Literally everything Chip said.
Yeah,
it's tough. The Friday night game I'll be paying attention to is Miami Louisville, and I don't even know how to tell you to bet that one, to be honest. That's another tough one. These are tough games Friday night. I saw someone ask about Cal. I do like Cal to cover.
Well, it was Avery Ennis that said thoughts on line movement for North Carolina and Cal from 12.5 to 8.5. I haven't noticed that, but maybe you all have. Any thoughts on either of you two? Any thoughts on that?
When the players are tweeting out, it's in God's hands now. As they get on the plane to go to Berkeley, I don't know, buddy.
It's giving AJ Brown.
When Steve Belichick's wife allegedly is sharing a picture of a moving van on her TikTok account, I don't know, buddy. The athletic director, the next athletic director, and the university president are showing up to the regular media availability. I don't know, buddy.
Yeah, it's not great. That's not a great look. Let's
North
transition.
Carolina team total under. North Carolina team total under. Offensively, I don't see them getting better there. That is one spot. Now, Bill Belichick against a freshman quarterback, maybe we tap into some old wizardry like he had against rookie quarterbacks back in the day. But North Carolina's offense, I do not see them being able to find a spark on the road at Cal. Also, Friday night, Utah State playing host to San Jose State. Game's 9 p.m. kickoff on CBS Sports Network. Pay attention to the halftime show. You might see your friends from the Cover 3 podcast participating in that as well.
Wow. Okay. I'm on that for sure.
Oh.
Jeff Stenberg wants to know, Buckets, do you like West Brom, Preston, both teams to score at even money?
Not really, to be honest. He's asking about a match taking place tomorrow. West Brom is not a team that I have a whole lot of confidence in scoring. 3 of their last 7 matches has ended 1-0. Their offense or struggles to kind of get going, especially coming off a break. It's not something I would personally touch here.
Did West Brom fall to the championship?
Yeah.
Oh, tough scenes.
How do you know all this, Chip?
Well, because I don't
seriously.
recognize Preston. Right, you know what I'm saying?
He knew that Preston was not a Premier League team, so
I
West Brom
knew
had to
that
be-
Preston was not a Premier League team, and so if West Brom's playing Preston, then things have gone horribly wrong for West Brom.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, 100%. Giuseppe Maricino says, Buckets, we hate unders, but Union Berlin under 2.5 today at even money feels good, right?
It does feel good. Union Berlin is dicey at best. If I had to bet on that game, I wouldn't. But if I had to bet on that game, I would take the under there.
So just to be clear, if you had to bet on the game, you would not bet on the game.
Correct. But if if someone's like, Buckets, bet on this, I'd say no. And they go, do it or else. I'd go, whoa, under 2.5.
Okay. Out of time says, since we're covering the weekend, Bayern win and both teams to score plus 125.
Yeah, absolutely. Bayern Munich have not won Der Klassiker over the last 3 visits, but they're also having their best start in club history right now. International break makes it a little bit murky, but I think they still win this pretty easily. Maybe something crazy. 4-2 seems right here. And Sia, not to interrupt you, but I'm ready if you are.
Well, I'm ready too, but I want to get to Brian M's question real quick.
Wow.
Just one last soccer question. And it's not because I think the question is super important, no offense. It's that I don't appreciate the question. I know what you're trying to do, Brian, and I don't appreciate it. So Buckets, go ahead and read the question and respond.
Buckets, would you like Widzew Lodz versus Radomiak Radom in the Polish Ekstraklasa over 2.5 goals at minus 125?
So he can do that, but
he can read. What a shock. I know that everybody out there is surprised by that. I do really like that because Widzew Lodz is one of those teams that just doesn't play defense. They have 32 goals scored both ways in their first 11 matches. Over's kind of the only way you want to bet them right now.
Oh, well, you made me look really bad there.
You made
stuff.
yourself look bad,
I
and now I'm
did.
ready for the decision.
yes!
I did, but I was not going to get through that. I would have looked way worse if I had read the question. You've got multiple footballs in your house. That's the biggest shock of all.
I got so hyped during Danny's take, I ripped open this football, and then
You did not.
Yeah, I mean, it goes in there,
You took the pigskin off the football?
dude.
You are a
get it,
savage fan. You're built for this sport. Let's go.
That's incredible. I've never seen anybody do that before. All right,
That's the most ADHD thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's so football, too.
Let me give you some plays here.
I ripped the cover. Okay, you relax. All right, it's time for the decision. Buckets, what team will you be rooting for from here on out?
Before I say what team I'm rooting for, I'd like to say a couple teams that I'm not rooting for, because I asked Twitter for recommendations and I got some honestly really, really good feedback. Some people that just said, Buckets, for the love of God, please root for the Vikings. We need all the help we can get. Not going to root for the Vikings because that sounds a little bit desperate. AMAG said, Buckets, it's got to be the Jets. Then there were 9 comments saying, why do you hate the Buckets? The AMAGs. So I'm going to stay away from the Jets. There were some good arguments about Green Bay, that they're a team owned by the fans like we see in the German Bundesliga so often. People saying to go for the Browns because they're known as the dog pound, and I like dogs. Not going to go for them based on that response from Chip alone. When I finally found it, I landed on my team based on one reason alone. It is who Jamal Musiala supports for Bayern Munich. He is really, really good friends, apparently, with, I want to make sure I say this name right, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Nice.
So I am taking my support, and more importantly, Freya's support, to the Detroit Lions to officially be my first ever NFL team. So thank you, everyone, for being a part of this decision.
They are the modern America's team. Like, it used to be Dallas, and now it's not. But like, they are a blue collar, just a bunch of good guys out there.
And can I just say, in terms of like Bucket's brand, this makes perfect sense because Amon-Ra St. Brown has ties to Munich, right? He's spent time there, so like that's great for you. It's a Bayern Munich extension of a football team, football, if you will.
And after I looked up Amon-Ra St. Brown, I looked up, has he done anything bad? Because I don't want to show support for someone that's been a little bit controversial. The first thing to pop up was he's had a minor controversy because he stayed up too late playing video games one night when he had practice the next day.
That is so buckets coded.
I love that about him. So
He's a good
I'm a
guy.
Lions fan. Go whatever they are to win the Super Bowl. I'm going to go ahead and find that now and place that bet. Go if you have, what did they say? Go Lions. Go
Lions.
Lions.
Time to
Just
learn.
a
Yes.
lot to learn here.
It's a great team to be rooting for. Their Super Bowl odds are probably pretty short, but probably bettable at the same time. And buckets on Monday, when we're doing this show, we're going to have 2 Monday Night Football games to talk about, one at 7 o'clock and one at 10 o'clock. And the 7 o'clock game is the Detroit Lions versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Detroit. It's actually going to be an extremely exciting game. So you're going to have to actually watch that. Maybe we'll have a live watch party. That's what we need to do.
I'm so down. I already ordered Lions jerseys for me and Freya, so I'll get us both fitted for the show. We'll be ready.
And like, I don't want to dox you. I don't know how long it's been since you last told people where you live, but it is not Lions country.
Where I live is not Lions country.
No.
Oh my! It's Detroit.
Lucky
Yeah.
for you,
Yeah.
buckets.
Yeah.
I didn't think about.
Yeah, you're gonna be walking around Ohio repping the Lions.
They ain't gonna like that.
At
Enemy
least Detroit
territory.
is a fabulous tourist destination. You know, you'll have a lot of fun visiting Detroit.
Yeah,
I
you
need to go to a game. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
you should.
It's indoor, so that's good news
That's
too.
good.
All right. I think, thank you, Buckets, for the announcement. Do we
Thanks
have,
for putting up with me.
before we get to the recap screen, is there any, go ahead, Brasco.
Can I do lightning round of UFC questions?
Yes,
real quick?
please do.
I
Yep.
saw some folks talking about the Chito Vera versus Ayman Zahabi fight. He had a really interesting play. I believe it was Troll Star. He talked about Chito Vera under first round significant strikes. Really interesting look because Chito is known as an overly patient fighter. He doesn't get going till later. So I kind of like that look there. And there was another question that I'm now finding that I cannot find, and you can move on from me, Sia.
All right, fair enough. Chip or Mackenzie, hand up if there's any college football questions that we didn't get to.
I don't think so. I think we hit most of them. This is gross. There's a lot of gross games.
Gross. This is hazmat. Like you definitely do not like. You need to take Cipro after watching Missouri Auburn. Like this is just like an infection waiting to happen. I don't. No, thank you. If Missouri's the better team, that does not mean they will win this game. Eli Drinkwitz is the better coach. This does not mean they will win this game. The whole Auburn football experience is too toxic. I just don't. Self-care Saturday. We don't need it in our life.
Yeah, stay away. It's a stay away. Go ahead, Brasco.
I found him. Sorry about that. Achilles says UFC underdog for me is Davey Grant. Davey's still in the Navy, 39 years old. I did a whole song for him once, and then his fight got canceled, so we didn't even get to cash that. He is a sneaky underdog. He's fighting a Canadian who's moving down to bantamweight, which I think is the better weight class for Jourdain. But Davey's a tricky out, man. He's always in close fights. So if you want to sprinkle the dog, I totally feel that. And then one other guy asked me about Kevin Holland. Dude, I literally submitted him as a 1-unit pick on my SportsLine article. I messaged my editor to say, can you scale that down to a quarter unit? Because Holland gave an interview this week saying that he thought he was fighting a different opponent. Up until this week, he thought it was an entirely different. The guy is such a head case. You never know what version you're going to get of Kevin Holland. I'll make it a quarter unit play. Just scale down the risk if you're betting him because he's wild.
Mackenzie, you say you're on Duke this weekend. Can you remind everybody who they're playing?
I was
Hey,
hoping
she
you
was
weren't
really
going to
hoping not to
publicly
say that
say that out loud.
Oh,
It's not something I'm proud of necessarily because I'm not anti-Georgia Tech. Duke had a really bad loss at the beginning of the season to Illinois, which was probably the most competent football team they've played. Since then, they've played lesser opponents, but they're killing them. Like they're covering the spread and then some. So if you were setting the spread based off Duke's past 3 games, they'd probably be closer to a touchdown favorite in this game. But we still have this perception of the way they played against Illinois, which is fair. But something about this, man. Georgia Tech's supposed to win. They're supposed to keep going on, make it to the Georgia game undefeated, make the ACC championship, get this conference a second at-large bid. Something tells me they just aren't going to do that. Sia.
Kens, let me grab that baton and just keep going. So we saw Georgia Tech go on the road to Winston-Salem, North Carolina against Wake Forest, messed around, almost lost with that early noon kickoff. A little bit of a sleepy, cozy, comfy environment. Something similar at Durham. You got to bring your own juice for that kind of game. They didn't do a good job in Winston-Salem, and they are facing a much, much better team, as Ken's mentioned. Manny Diaz, head coach of the Duke Blue Devils, after they completely collapsed. I mean, turnovers on turnovers on turnovers on mistakes in the loss to Illinois Illinois and the loss to Tulane. Manny Diaz, we were the architects of our own demise. Like, they truly believe that they've got the goods. And now that they've cleaned things up a little bit, I think Duke is a threat to take Georgia Tech's spot in terms of playing Miami in Charlotte for the ACC title. This is a big, big, big game in the ACC. I'm on Duke as well, Kens, for whatever that's worth.
That makes me feel a lot better. It feels like, because Georgia Tech is also America's team, college football.
The number 16 team is undefeated on the road and an underdog.
And Vegas knows.
Big Cheesy says Mackenzie Brooks knows ball because that's his only play tomorrow is Duke, unless I'm reading that incorrectly. So good stuff there. All right, we do have to get to the recap screen. We could probably go an hour and a half with everybody's questions, but unfortunately, we actually can't do that because these people have other places to be at the moment. I've got Kamani Vidal over 53.5 rush yards, more props on the NFL Prop Show on CBS Sports Network at 1 o'clock today. All right, Buckets is on Fortuna Dusseldorf versus Eintracht Braunschweig. Dusseldorf over 1.5 team total, minus 130. Buckets, I messed that up.
That's okay. Keep going, buddy.
PSG versus Racing Strasbourg. Both teams to score minus 130. Then we go to Brasco. We've got UFC. Matt Frivola, money line, minus 122. Jasmine Jazz Devicious, money line, plus 190. DeRitter Allen, over 2.5 rounds, minus 124. And then from Wednesday's show, Melissa Croden, money line, plus 102. That line is on the move, as he says. Same with Eamon.
Yes.
Eamon Zahabi, money line, minus 125. Again, that one was from Wednesday. Mackenzie Brooks, Iowa team total over 9.5. First half, minus 140. And Georgia Ole Miss, first half, under 27.5, minus 105. And if you listen to the whole show, we had probably 5 or 10 more picks coming from Mackenzie and Chip Patterson unofficially on this show. UConn, minus 1.5, minus 102 from Tuesday. Miami Louisville, under 50.5. That's tonight. Ole Miss, first half, plus 3.5. And Arkansas, plus 7.5. We go to SportsLine Picks. SportsLine Picks did great yesterday. Travis Etienne, under 60.5 rushing yards, minus 115. And Tet McMillan, over 52.5 receiving yards, minus 110. Both of those from Prop Stars. Rams, minus 3, minus 110 from Emory Hunt. Browns, minus 2.5, minus 110 from RJ White. And the Jets, plus 1.5, minus 110 from Brady Cannon. We also gave you some of what the SportsLine model thinks of these two MLB playoff games. Here they are again, a couple of B-rated plays in this Mariners game. It includes the Mariners money line, plus 1.5, and the over 7. And then we switch over to the next one. Some C and B-rated plays with the Brewers money line, Brewers plus 1.5, and the over 8. Those are slight leans to moderate plays on that one. We went really long. It was a really great show, mostly thanks to all of you in the chat. Thank you so much for being in here. Wish I could give everybody a shout out because I know there were some picks from yesterday that a lot of you hit, like Jen, for example, some of the hockey picks from Rick and Scott Davis. A lot of you are hitting picks. Really appreciate you being in here. Thank you, Chip. Thank you, Danny. What happened, Danny?
Did anyone have Jamar Chase receptions? Like, I'm watching it, I'm like, damn it, the ladder of the century.
One thing I don't do is bet on the best players on the field ever.
Fair.
I just continuously find myself betting on like RB2s, wide receiver 3s, running back receiving yards.
Plus money as an anytime last night.
Crazy.
Plus 145.
So was DK Metcalf.
I was like,
Lord Pretty Flacco is back, baby.
Let's go.
Buckets, what were you laughing at?
Oh, just the comment, I never bet on the best players on the field. That's just how I feel whenever I bet any goal scores in soccer. It's like you can't take the obvious one because it's obvious, and then they score 8. You go,
and you're like, what? Right. You're watching them, and you're like, oh yeah, that probably.
Oh, Kane scored 4.
It's annoying. Betting is easy,
right?
So
you're like,
easy.
I need one more reception from the TE3, and then
literally.
Why do I do this? Why?
I have the RB2's longest reception. What am I doing?
It's so good. All right. Thank you, Mackenzie, Chip, Brasco, Buckets, and of course, Ben, somehow managing this show behind the scenes and sometimes in front of the camera as well. Was one of those a producer pick that we read off?
No, but all good. It was a Utah minus 3.5, but it's a holy war. Hopefully that hook doesn't get involved with the self-care Saturday. That's what I'm worried about.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry. You're taking the road team with the turnover-prone quarterback Provo at night. Yeah, sure. Right,
as the show went on, I'm thinking, maybe it's good. I'll just keep that one out. I'll sit this one out.
All right. Well, we got at least a lean from Ben in that regard. Good to see you as usual. Good to see all of you in the chat. We'll see you on Monday. Well, we're going to have 2 Monday Night Football games to cover, but of course, plenty of other sports to cover there as well. Don't forget about the prop show today. And don't forget, NBA stuff starts next week, including on this SportsLine YouTube channel at 2 o'clock, right, Ben? It's me hosting, and it's what? Prop Stars, Mikey B, and Larry Hartstein?
Yeah, Prop Stars and Mikey B right now. So we're trying to maybe get a couple more people. But yeah, it'll be NBA futures getting ready for the season to tip off on Tuesday. Sorry to hear.
I can't wait. All right. Great show, everybody. Have a great Friday, everybody. We'll see you next time. Buckets, would you like to close?
Defend the den, Sia.
We rest our case.
Right on.
I don't know.